This conversation starts calm and then everything shifts. Let's break it down on Choir Media.
Hello. How are you? What you got for me?
3 or 4 episodes over the last like couple of weeks.
Okay.
Um, Coming in, I was aware of, the whole movement of Black women getting back into their femininity, etc. But some of the rest of the stuff that you said kind of went beyond and past that. And I will admit as well, my feelings were hurt, very hurt,
What's that?
because of some of the categories that I kind of fit in.
Okay. Did it?
And go
Okay.
ahead.
Was it hurtful that I said it, or was it hurtful that you're in these categories?
I think it was hurtful, like just the realization that I'm in these categories because I had never really heard anyone put it like that before. And then, it kind of hits you with the realization that, okay, yes, I may have wasted time in my 20s and my 30s, et cetera, pushing my career. So I agree with a lot of, what you're saying, but then there's some things that I just still just can't, I guess,
Such
buy
as,
into.
such as.
Um, that women can't be career oriented and be a quote unquote boss and still balance with femininity and be successful kind of
Okay.
in a
Well, let's
relationship.
talk. Let's talk about it. Women cannot.
Um,
Women cannot balance femininity with boss, having a career, and what else?
uh, and being successful in a relationship,
Okay. So how many
balancing the
women do
two.
you how many black women do you know who are feminine, bosses, married successfully?
I'd say maybe a handful.
You know them personally.
Yeah,
Are they married to black men?
yes.
And what do they tell
So
you
I, I
about?
wouldn't I wouldn't say it's a whole bunch, but like a handful.
Right.
Um,
Now, what so out of a handful, do you think why do you think it's only a handful? Why isn't it the majority?
I can honestly say I do think Black women need to get back into their femininity, but I still just question, do we have to necessarily give up that masculine energy part of us that allows us to go give up to chase our careers, chase our dreams, chase
Okay,
our
let's talk about
ambitions?
careers. My position is most women don't have careers. You have jobs.
Okay.
Um,
That I don't fall into that category.
I
So
said most women. I didn't say
yeah,
okay, but what do if you look at the jobs that women hold? The top two employers of black women are the federal government and retail.
correct.
Those are not careers; they're jobs. If you look
Okay.
at the top six positions held by black women, the only people that are lower are Hispanic women, and that's because they do a lot of domestic work. A lot of times, black women will self-aggrandize stuff that's not calling themselves bosses, and they're just a one employee. They're sole proprietorship. You're not a boss. You have a business. I don't see many plumbers calling themselves boss dudes. They have a plumber. So why? Okay, the issue with do you want? Okay, would you like to be married?
I would, yes.
Would you like to have children?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant?
Honestly, for me, I'm open to either way just because I've
I'm asking you
amassed
what
enough
you want.
capital,
Now, I'm asking you what you want, not what you're open to.
probably for a time, maybe the first like year or so, and then I'd be willing to go back into the job, well, not
How,
job force, but
how many
back
children do you
into the
want?
economy. One is good for me at this point,
Oh,
due to my age.
no. One child? That's a horrible thing to do to a kid. I'm an only child. That's a horrible thing to do to a kid. Raising an only
Okay,
child? How old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay. Um, so, um,
I will,
let,
for the record, say that I have my eggs frozen, so this whole dangerous stuff, danger zone stuff, doesn't quite apply to me.
well, it still does. No, you're past danger zone. It's no man's land.
Right,
Um,
but I
so,
took precautions ahead of time
okay,
for
but
that.
so have you known you wanted to be married? for a long time?
Yes.
So why have you waited so long?
Um, I think part of that I'll take 50% blame on myself and 50% I put on the men that I've dated in the past probably weren't ready.
You mean the men you've chosen to spend your time with?
Yes.
See how that's I reframed that. You said the men you've dated, and I said no, the men you've chosen because you're a
Which is
professional
accurate. I did choose them.
right? Because you're a professional woman. So if you
Correct.
know what you wanted, and you're almost 40, your life is proven that you can't have what it is you say that you have a problem with me saying. You can't have it, and I'm here to tell all you women, you cannot have it all. Life is about choices and trade-offs, which is why you had to freeze your eggs because of choices you made.
Correct.
So I'm not being hurtful or disingenuous. Men know we can't have it all, and you women think you can have it all. And you cannot be a boss and be feminine and have a family and have all the upside and no downside. Who's gonna raise
I
your
would
who's
I
okay?
wouldn't necessarily say that there's going to be a downside. I think everybody knows that
Oh,
there's a
not really.
downside to
Okay.
everything.
Do you know
There's
anybody with children?
trade-offs. Yes.
All right. So you wouldn't mind going back to work. So after your child is 1 or 2 years old, where's that child going to be?
It's either going to be daycare or nanny.
Okay. And how much is daycare for a 1 or 2 year old?
Average daycare prices is about $675 a month.
Excuse me?
Average daycare
For
cost per
for
child
for
is
an
six
imp,
hundred.
for an infant?
That's across all age ranges. So you
Yeah,
have
you don't no
6 weeks to 5 years old.
now five no you need that's closer to 2 grand, man. It's not 675. It's higher than that. Much higher than that.
Actually, this is the figures on that.
All right. So let's take the numbers you're in. Okay, but I'm also had children too, so with respect. I mean, I'm not trying to have a pissing
Well,
contest
I'm
here.
just talking.
But
I'm just
let's just
talking
but at the end of the
national
day,
average.
you'd be working and someone else would be influencing your child in the developmental years.
Yes, I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, it's part of the problem we have right now because if you're in the industry, you know how important those tender years are.
Well, that's exactly why you vet someone that's can carry out the proper influence that you want.
Well,
So, and I think a lot of
oh,
it, and
there's a
correct me
there's
if
a
I'm
theory
wrong.
there's a theory part of it, but then there's a reality part of it.
Okay.
How long have you owned your own business?
So I just started a company 3 months ago.
And what did you do before you started this company?
Lead software engineer at a marketing agency.
All right. So if you were to get married, your husband would need to make how much?
Um, my range is probably like the bottom of that is probably like 80, not because of an income, like not dollar amount, but looking at quality of living. So I'm the type of person where I do like to
$80,000.
travel,
Okay, hold on.
go do
$80,000.
things.
Hold on. $80,000. What percentage of American men make $80,000 plus?
I would say that's probably maybe around 25 to 30%.
15.
Okay.
So half the men. So half. And what do those men want from a woman? Do they want a woman who's 40?
I think it depends on the individual.
Of course, it always. Oh, okay, ma'am. That always depends
I
on the
mean,
individual. It
right.
always depends
Generally
on the individual.
speaking,
But the more money a man makes, the more he wants. So
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Just listening to your channel, this is the first time that I've heard anybody, um, give that opinion that men, in that income bracket on up don't want 40-year-old women.
well,
And
what
so,
are
and I
you?
say that because
But you're 39. All you have to do is know one thing that look at Hollywood. Look at men with money. And what do men with money, who do they pick after they have money? Do they pick older women? Do they pick women who are overweight? Or do they pick young, hot women? See, what I'm saying has always been there. We just don't like it. We just don't talk about it because women spend most of the dollars in advertising, and most media coddles you.
So you're talking about celebrities and
No, I'm
things like
talking.
that. Yeah.
I'm talking about men. Period. Men.
Okay.
Period.
So the men that I see from my purview, my perspective, I work in an industry where I'm around a lot of six-figure men, high six-figure men,
Uh huh.
working with software engineers,
Great.
and they're not picking young,
Hold
hot
on. Hold on. Slow
women.
your roll, ma'am, because they're my clients. Have you ever asked
Okay.
these men what kind of women they want?
No, I haven't asked
Well,
them, but
then that's the
working with a
point. But
lot
see,
of them, I've seen their
let me stop you
wives.
right there. I have, because they're my clients. See, you ladies get this confused because you work with them. You think you know them. You
Okay.
know an employee. You don't know what he wants from a woman, but I tell you this, no man wants an older, overweight woman. The more money a man makes, what was it, Chris Rock? A man's only as faithful as his options. So the thing I'm saying, a lot of you women you can see it with your own eyes, but it never put two and two together. But have you ever asked yourself, why is a woman with my education, my background, my drive, and all this other kind of stuff unmarried? Or women like you? Take you out of the equation, or women like you? Have you ever asked that question?
I have. I think the answer that I'd settled on would still deal with around the femininity issue and not, just like you said, being agreeable and
Well,
things of that
I would tell
nature.
you first, and I would tell you more than anything else, in Black America, it comes down to weight.
Okay.
How much does the average black woman weigh?
Um, so I've seen your answer to this yesterday. So I think you said somewhere around 175, 80 pounds.
No, no, the average black woman weighs closer to like 190 pounds.
Okay.
But have you ever asked any of the guys you date? Have you ever been proposed to?
I have not been proposed to, no.
Okay, what's the longest relationship you've ever had?
5 years.
Why didn't you marry that guy?
He was cheating on me.
In year one?
Um, years two.
And you knew it in
And
year two?
I found out in year two.
But you stayed for 4 more years.
We got back together off and on. So I would say it was a
You said
period
five
off and on
years.
of
You
five
said
years.
five
Yeah.
years. So I'm just going on your math. In year one, but year two, you found out he was cheating. You stayed for another 3 years.
I
Did
did
he
give
make more
him
money than you?
a sec. At that time, no.
Okay. All right. So I get why a lot of the things I say are harsh, because the reality is looking a lot of you women dead in the face. The men don't care about your income, your education, your career, your bossness, your divaness, and any of this stuff until the attractiveness is there. Then the femininity has to be there. Then the submissive and cooperativeness has to be there. Then all this other kind of stuff. But unfortunately, far too many of our women don't pass the fitness test. And that is something that 100% of them can deal with, but they don't. I mean, you're a plus size woman, right?
Yes, I am.
When was the last time you were like an actual healthy weight?
Um, I'd probably say about 5 years ago.
And how much did you weigh then?
180.
Ma'am,
But
that's not a healthy
well,
weight. That's not no man.
you say it's not.
Don't tell me. Don't. I'm the image consultant. If you're come on. Sorry, you cannot. How tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
That Go ahead, make your case. I'll go ahead and counter.
So the case that I was going to make is that yes, there's the BMI. We all understand that. However, they're still healthy from a perspective of what do your medical doctors tell you. I
So you mean to
have
tell me?
always
You
been
mean
on the
to tell
heavier
me your
side,
medical?
but
You mean
my
to tell? So you mean to tell me is in there for? You mean to tell me that a medical? I want to be clear. You mean to tell me medical
but
doctor? I need to hold on. Listen to the question.
you didn't let me finish
Well,
telling you what.
everybody's individual. I'm not just talking about BMI, man. How about this? Forget you individually. Should a woman weigh more than a man in her? Are you looking at YouTube?
I'm watching the screen.
Okay. Should a woman weigh more than should a woman weigh more than a man at her height?
Probably
What
not.
do you mean
No,
probably? Come on, can we be honest?
no.
So why say probably?
Because I really never thought about it
But
in that
but but
way
okay,
before.
how about this? Take it away from human beings, okay? Where in nature are the female mammals larger than the male mammals?
Probably
Okay,
non-existent.
ma'am, you're an educated woman, and every time you say probably, it's a red flag. It's like you're not being honest.
Well, I say probably because there's always edge cases.
But edge cases don't disprove the norm. See, you're the software engineer
Right.
and technical woman, and you still don't even want to deal with the realities. A 5'6" woman at 180 pounds, the average man is 5'9.5", weighs 168 pounds. At 5'6", 180, you weigh more than a man. And then when you go look around at women of other races, do you see Asian women who are 5'6", 180?
No.
And that's what you said was a healthy weight. What's the most you've ever weighed?
Well, because you asked about me
Right, but
personally,
what's the most you've ever weighed?
I
What's the most you've
the
ever weighed?
most I've the most I've weighed is 350.
Three what?
350, and I lost it.
Okay, so I get why this is hard, man, but okay, arguably, there is, unless you're telling me you had a medical condition, diagnosed thyroid, and my ex-wife had Graves' disease. So I gotta ask, why did you let yourself get to that almost 400 pounds?
So the truth behind that is childhood trauma, which I did had to go deal with. A lot of times, and what I do feel a lot of women don't like to admit is that the root cause of their overweightness is trauma, especially trauma stemming from like family of origin, etc., that has been left undealt with that we do need to go seek therapy for.
I don't doubt that there is a lot. I always talk about therapy on my channel, and mental illness is a big thing. But ma'am, come on.
No, I know. I totally agree with you on that point.
So,
But that was the
but
cause
what I
of
need you to
that.
understand is, as weight has increased with Black women, so has marital rates.
Hmm.
No one, and I get pegged as a asshole for pulling the truth out of women that you guys don't like to talk about. There was no, for whatever. There's no way to look around and say I should be that weight. And there's
No, 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 no,
hold
no,
on, and let me
definitely not.
finish. And there's and just like there are childhood traumas for women, there are childhood traumas for men too. But see, we don't give men excuses. The world tells men you ain't shit and you need to do better.
I agree.
So now you get somebody like myself coming along, just talking about observable facts, figures, data, statistics, things you can see with your own eyes. And a lot of women are saying it's hard. And I'm like, I would think living a life this way is harder. And I don't understand why women who live the lives that you guys live don't do something about it. Because you can see the outcomes. When you went to go freeze your eggs, you knew something was wrong.
Correct.
And you went to college. And after college, you saw other women getting married and moving on with their lives. And around 24, 25, you had to look around and start to see fewer and fewer single people. Well, maybe not Black women, because Black women stay single for a long time. So then you live in this alternate reality, and this is why I did that show yesterday. Divas, queens, and bosses. And what are the queens? The queens are the overweight, unattractive women. And the bosses were the disagreeable ones. You don't find many of those women who are married. So no, you can't be a queen and a boss and have a husband. No man.
Yeah, I guess that's the I guess point of contention for me, that
Why
you can't go be ambitious and still, be married at whatever age.
why do
I
you
think what bothers me is
why is that a point of
discouraging women.
why is that a point of contention when men don't want it? Men don't want it. Do you at least accept that fact that men don't want that from women? Or do you not believe that?
No, I'm not gonna say I don't believe it. I guess the question that's in my head is why, from an aspect of why wouldn't you want a woman that has aspirations,
Because you're
to
supposed to be hot.
pursue her passion and
Because you're
pursue
nobody
a
gives it. Because you're
purpose.
not here to do that. Were you raised in? Are you religious?
I was raised in a religious home, but I'm not
Okay,
religious now. No.
Christian.
Yes.
Okay, when you were raised, what's a woman's purpose on this planet?
According to the Bible, to be a helpmeet.
That's your only purpose. A woman's purpose on this planet, Bible or not, is the man. Without us, you have no purpose. And see, what you're doing is you're at odds with reality. Let me finish. I'm sitting back. You're saying, "Well, I don't." You're at odds with the fact that men don't want what you have to sell. Men don't want ambitious, career-driven women who are overweight and unattractive. See, it's that combination. See, if you weren't,
So
if a
take
woman was
away
not, if
the
a woman was
overweight,
not overweight and
attractive,
hold on, if a woman was,
the career
hold
driven.
on, you can't overtalk me. If a woman was career driven and ambitious, but she was also smoking hot, then she'd have fewer problems. But when you are ambitious and career driven, overweight and or unattractive, that's too many struggles. And at the end of the day, you cannot, at the end of the day, ma'am, no woman can make men want you for your reasons. Do you want a broke man?
No.
Then how dare you sit back and try to question what men want when you say your lower floor is the top 15% of earners in this country? But see, you've been told that that's fine. See, that's a standard. But men can't have standards. And your life.
I guess I'm concerned that people, maybe even the younger women watching your channel, will be dissuaded from pursuing their passions and their
No, what they need to be
purpose.
dissuaded from is
Well,
getting, okay, what they need to be dissuaded from is getting to be 350 pounds. That's what they need to be getting dissuaded from. So you just want to get there, you keep acting like I'm talking about, I want women to be airheads and dumb. I don't want them to be unattractive and overweight. How about we just get right down to it? That's your problem. Okay. It's not your career. It's not all this other kind of stuff you keep trying to wedge me into. It's the fact that you allowed yourself to get to be the size of almost 3 adults. And I'm an asshole for saying that. And I don't understand why black women fight this so much. Black men have been saying for years, we don't want women who are masculine. We don't want women who are overweight. And we don't want women with weaves. And what do we get? Masculine, overweight women with weave or wigs. You keep giving that to black men and telling them, take it. And they're not. You're going to the clinics freezing your eggs and wondering what the fuck is wrong with the men. You're the one going to the clinic freezing eggs. But I'm an asshole for saying that.
I didn't say that.
No, but that's the way it gets portrayed. So when a woman like you, when I say it, it doesn't matter how nice I say it, because I tried 50, 11 million nice ways to say it, and you kept arguing and kept pushing and you still don't seem to understand the fact that men are visual, and men don't find women that are overweight or attractive, especially not successful men. No man really finds it. The only men that deal with women like that are men who have no options.
Okay.
So if you know, if do you know that, or do you accept that to be
I'm
truth?
I'm I'm saying okay, just
Okay, so
that I understand what
so
what you're
so
saying.
so so black women, you oftentimes talk about how skinny white girls are. Oh, they too skinny. They too skinny. I ain't being that. Why are so many white women thin?
Uh, I can't answer that because I've never had that kind of conversation.
Why do
Honestly,
you think
I think
why do you think white women are in gyms running? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, man.
I know what you're talking about. I guess from a perspective of I have heard white women obsess over their weight
Why?
because
Why?
um societal pressure.
Not
They don't want to
societal
be
pressure. Use
considered
the words,
as
man. It's not
overweight.
societal pressure. Use the words. It's the men.
Okay, yeah,
See, black women can't even tell the
it
truth,
would be the
man. You
men.
can't even tell the truth, man. This is getting to be sad. It's not societal pressure. White women want white men, and white men run the world. And these women are running to be competitive to get a man. Unfortunately, black women don't think they need a man. So you will let yourselves go to the point to where you become damn near men. You're bigger than men. And then when you can't get one, you turn around and ask, well, what's wrong with men? I'm educated. I'm this and that. You're not what they want. See, even Hispanic women, whose Hispanic men make less than black men, but even Hispanic
Hmm.
women know what to give their men what they want. Why don't you black women just give black men what the French toast they say they want? Why don't you just do that?
Okay.
No, no, why? But why don't you?
I'm not necessarily too sure black women are raised with that
I'm
purview in
asking
mind.
you. Why aren't you giving black men what they want? How about you?
Um, I say from the weight perspective, I've never thought about it in that aspect because I've dated people. So I,
You mean you
if you don't know it's a
hold on,
problem,
man. You mean because somebody would have sex with you?
um, no, don't get it twisted. I ain't no
I didn't
random
say
one
you were no
night
random
hit it
nothing.
or quit it. But
Okay,
I
man?
mean,
Don't
for
get.
most,
Hold on, man. Hold on. First off, you need to
go ahead.
understand who I am. Don't do that. I'm not trying to call you no random nothing. But you weren't. Are you trying to tell me you were a virgin and you had sexless relationships?
No, what
So
I'm saying is when people are,
listen, women's sexual psychology is this. A man who is a 3 on the scale from 1 to 10, if he lucked up and had sex with a woman who's at 9 or 10, a man knows that his value does not qualify him to start getting 9s and 10s. A woman starts to equate her value with being able to have sex with a man, but that's not where your value should be. It's on keeping a man and a husband. So when you say you've had been able to deal with date people, that's the lowest level. You're a sexual object, but no one is going to keep you, marry
so
you.
what I was going to say was that I think when people are able to secure dates and get in somewhat maybe long-term relationships, if you don't know it's a problem, you won't address it.
What do you
So
okay?
they're
Secure dates,
not
but securing dates
or
is dating is
securing
but is
boyfriends as
that the but
well.
is okay? But let's be honest, is that the and that's another part of the problem. Marriage is never really a goal for most black women. Thank you for admitting that. Boyfriend, a relationship, just somebody to have sexual access is enough for most black women. Just like the previous caller, I don't need to be married. That's how low a lot of black women have dropped their standards. I just need to have a title. Wife, I don't need that. Girlfriend will do. Even you said it.
Right.
Even you said it. A
But,
5-year
yeah,
relationship.
I'm
But the
acknowledging
thing
that
is,
in the sense
ma'am,
that
the
you
reason.
may not know it's a
But yes, you
problem
can,
because
ma'am.
you
Yes,
got
you
a
can.
boyfriend.
Yes, you can. Because in the second year, when you found out that man was cheating on you, you stayed in the situation, and you stayed in this situation. But my thing is, if you had better men as options who were trying to court you to be with you or marry you, you wouldn't have stayed there. You cannot tell me you would have stayed with this guy if you actually had better options from higher value men. Yeah or nay?
Um,
Careful.
at the time,
Car-
no, because that was and part of that straddled my college years.
So
So
what does that mean? If you actually had bona fide high value men trying to court you for a long term relationship and married you to stay with the cheating dude?
no, that's not what I'm saying at all.
That's what I'm
I'm
asking you.
saying,
That's what I'm asking
oh
you.
no.
So no, you wouldn't have stayed.
No, the answer is no. Yeah,
Ex-
to that specifically.
so my point is, you didn't have other options or better options. He was the best option you had. It was suboptimal, but it was the best. And why do you think that was? It's not because the men who were higher value wanted fit women. We're not going to get past this in Black America. 8 out of 10 Black women are overweight, and 80% are obese. We're getting to the point now to where Black women weigh more than the average Black man. A woman who's 5'4" weighs more than a man who's 5'4". A woman who's 5'7" weighs more than a man who's 5'7". It's getting so bad that now you're starting to double up on men. I'm going back to this 350-pound thing, man, because at 5'7", that's twice as much as a man and 3 times as much as a woman should weigh.
Absolutely.
So
That's why I
that should
started doing something about it.
and that's the thing. And let's take it away from you so it's not so personal. If women can't sit there and it's like Black women can look in the mirror and delude themselves and lie to themselves and say, I'm fine. I'm this and I'm that. I get women who are larger than that trying to approach me. I'm like, what in the hell do you think this is? But just that's because somebody somewhere had sex with her and she thinks, well, shit. And the sad part is you don't have men like me speaking. So it's unfortunately women like you, if you were in your late teens, when you could have done something more effectively about it and possibly changed the outcome, it's just going on and on and on, and to the point to where it's really a foregone conclusion, man. You may have frozen your eggs, but would you be carrying the child or would you get a surrogate?
That's funny you ask. I do have the money to get a surrogate, and that's an option for me.
Well, it
Yeah.
has to be because of your and Black women, sadly, your education hasn't made you better. Your income hasn't made you better. It's made you worse. These are all horrible options. Freezing eggs and surrogacy are like using an abortion clinic for birth control.
I think that's a strong comparison, but okay.
Oh, you don't? So you mean to tell me that this is what normal and healthy heterosexual couples should be doing, or is this like emergency level?
Um, I think that based on where someone is in their life and their individual
You keep
circumstances,
going.
that
You keep going
it
to
can
see.
be in.
You keep going.
But there
You
are
keep going. See. The
okay.
thing is,
I'll
you
say
get
this.
in order to
I'll
make.
say this.
And instead of saying, you know what, you're right, you got to go to an extreme nuanced position. And this is what's so frustrating about so many Black women. You will.
But I don't think those are the only conditions that allow
Is it
people to
the
take
should it
that
be the
extreme
should it be the
nuanced
norm?
position.
What I'm saying is
No,
going to get an abortion should not be the norm for
it's
birth.
not the
Excuse me.
norm.
Going to get an abortion should not be the norm in birth control. It should be some sort of female birth control, IUD patch, gel foam, and male birth control, vasectomy, condom, something like that, with a backup of plan B. That is far more of a logical, rational, reasonable birth control scenario than having raw, unprotected sex and then having to go get abortions. That was the example. So what I'm saying is your method, if what you've had to do became the method of having children, having to take eggs out of the woman's ovaries, freeze them, and then wait to have an available donor, and then take those eggs and either deposit them in that woman's womb or going to get another woman's womb. That is the same. It's the similar lineup. Don't get
I'm not
don't get
saying
don't
it's
get
normal.
lined up.
I'm
Don't.
saying it's an option for people who need it.
Okay, but you don't need it. You didn't need. You wouldn't need it. You see, that's the thing, man. And I try not to go there. You wouldn't need it if you would have gotten married at a healthy weight when you were younger. That's my point. Yeah, abortion is an option if you need it, but it should not be the option. And see, this whole exercise has been really telling because black women like yourself seem to be so confused and you can't understand it. And I'm like, ma'am, do you really feel like you're an agreeable person? An agreeable female?
I do. I do feel like I'm an agreeable person. Just because I
Oh,
have a difference of opinion
oh,
doesn't make me
okay.
disagreeable.
Okay. Well, okay. And you know what? I can believe that. I've talked to plenty of black women enough to know that honestly, you guys think this is just a conversation. A lot of black women, like you said, really feel like this is just normal, and it's not. This is not how communication should go between men and women. And I've actually had plenty of men say, you know what? I would love for you to bring non-black women on the show one day and just let the non-black women just go back and forth and talk to them so you could compare and contrast. But I said, you know what? That would blow this channel up. Because this is what
So can you
listen to what
enlighten
I
me
need to
as to
say.
what
Listen,
is
I need to.
disagreeable about
Okay,
our
you're still over
conversation?
talking me. I know you can hear me, but when I'm talking, you still gonna go. And see that's
Well, there's a lag, so
but I know, but I can hear you, so you can hear me. There's a lag, but you can. That's not the problem. The problem is you're gonna overtalk a man, and that's part of our black condition because far too few black women really value or respect black men. There's a low level of contempt and a lack of respect for the black male image that is in most black women. It doesn't matter his educational achievement, doesn't matter what position the man has. You're a black woman, so and I'm beneath you somehow. It's palpable.
I didn't say that
You don't have
at
to.
all.
You don't.
But I'm not purposely trying to talk
I
over
didn't
you. I'm
say
like
you
it's
were.
hard when you're on Zoom and you're trying to look for your entrance to kind of have an opinion.
All right. So the notion that black women's opinion, see, an opinion is one thing. Disagreeable is another. Notice how many times I've had to debate you on simple things. And I will say this. If the last relationship you had was how long ago?
My last relationship was a year and a half ago.
All right. And that was the 5-year relationship?
No.
Well, I always recommend that people talk to their exes, especially if there's no hope of getting back together and find out what it's like to be with you. But if I had to go ask your coworkers, your male coworkers, what it's like to work with you, what do you think the consensus would be?
Actually, they would give me a good review because I'm their manager. I manage teams of all men, so
You want to put that to the test?
absolutely, we can do that offline. I can
No,
give
no,
you
no,
every
no.
last one of their
Because here's the
numbers.
thing: I'm not just a personal image consultant. I'm a corporate image consultant, and I'm not asking this question because I don't know. So, okay, you're talking about your subordinates.
Correct.
I'm not asking about your subordinates. I'm asking about your colleagues.
My colleagues would be my director. I only have like
So
one or
about
two
this? How
people that
about this?
parallel
Over the
me.
course of your career, over the course of your career, if so, what you're telling me is over the course of your career, if I could do this sample and ask the people you work with, hey man, what's it like to work with Nick? What's it like? You mean to tell me that most of them would tell me what?
That I'm hardworking. I'm a great team member. I'm a team player. I'm a great collaborator.
Mm-hmm.
You can go look on my LinkedIn and see
I'm
where.
that's ma'am. Again, ma'am. Again.
I'm just saying.
Hold on. Now you're talking
I
over
could
me. Now you're
have.
talking. So you can't say you don't hear me.
Okay, go ahead.
See, you don't pull that shit that you couldn't hear me because you could hear me. And see, this is an exercise I do when I do corporate coaching, and people are often freaking shocked when they see what people actually think about them. I have yet to have a woman in a corporate session not be what? Especially when there's no fear of retribution and it's anonymous. But you know what? At the end of the day, man, this has been a good back and forth, but I would tell you this. There is a reason why 51% of black men are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. It's not because they don't want women or they want black women. Black women are not giving black men what they want. And they would rather have nothing than accept a disagreeable, argumentative, masculine. I'm not saying this is you. Masculine, any of these traits. Men don't want disagreeable, argumentative, masculine, unfit, overweight, women that lack femininity. And especially when you start talking about marriages, because if you got married, who would lead?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, if you got married, who would lead?
I absolutely would want my husband to lead.
Okay. Have you ever been led? In your relationships, does the men typically leading?
In the relationships that I've had, no, they haven't left because I have typically been in my masculine energy. And it's not till recently that I became that self aware enough to know that I needed to lean back. So I had, like, for the last 2 years, I've been kind of learning and practicing trying to make that shift so that I don't bring
But
that energy into my relationships.
what I'm hearing, ma'am, is you may be aware, but you still don't. You still never done this in a relationship.
I have.
What you told me is in your relationships, you're in your masculine.
No, I said in, like, I'd say my most recent relationship, I was in because that was the relationship that I
You said
became
that was over
self-aware
2 years ago. You
prior
said that was
to.
over a year ago, right?
Yes.
And how long were you
And I
guys
came
together?
upon this in uh, about roughly 8 months. So I actively in that relationship
So
have been
why did it
shifting
end?
to my feminine. Excuse me?
So why did it end?
It ended because he disrespected my boundaries and walked into my house uninvited and did some stuff that I don't think any respectable man should do.
Were you
And I
guys
had to
sexually
threaten him to
active?
call. No,
But you were with him for a year.
no, I said 8 months.
You were with him for 8 months, and you guys weren't sexually active.
No.
And he was your boyfriend?
I'd say we were exclusive. I wouldn't
No,
say he
no,
was my
no, no,
boyfriend.
no, no. Did you guys have a conversation where he said, "Will you be my girlfriend and I'm your boyfriend? We are one on one, and I'm not seeing anybody else."
Yeah, we said we would be exclusive,
Exclusive doing what?
exclusively dating.
Exclusively dating. So how old was this man?
He was 33.
And you were 30. How old?
At the time I was 37.
So you got a 33-year-old man and a 37-year-old woman, and you're telling me that you guys were exclusively dating for close to 8 months or 9 months,
Mhm.
and no sex?
No, that was a personal choice of mine.
Woo! All right. That's I'm not gonna even unpack that one. And he claimed and he was on Facebook. You were his girlfriend.
No. Mm-mm.
Right.
I
And
never
y'all
was
broke
playing with
up
him on social
because
media.
did he have a key to your house?
No, he did not.
So how do you walk in your house?
My door was open and he had asked me if he could come over and I told him no. And he kind of pressured me until
You
I
mean
kind
your
of gave
boyfriend
in.
asked you
So
could? Oh, so your boyfriend asked you, your exclusive boyfriend asked you if he could come over to his girlfriend's house.
yeah, isn't that the respectful thing to do as adults
I'm just
when
trying to
you're
understand something, ma'am. See, you already getting defensive. I'm just going on what you
yeah.
said. Your exclusive boy.
He asked me,
Hold
"Hey,
on.
can I come see you
Check
tonight?"
it. I will. Don't know. Was it? Did he normally come to your house?
Yeah, after asking,
Okay,
after making
so
arrangements or
so
plans
your
or
boyfriend had to ask you to come to your house. Your
yeah, he
exclusive
asked me what I was
boyfriend had to
doing.
ask his girlfriend to come to his house.
Yes.
And you're telling me that you were in your feminine.
Um,
Woo! Lord have mercy, Jesus. You can't make this shit up.
I can
No,
say I
ma'am. Now
disagree
you
with it.
told
I
on
think as
yourself.
a
You told
grown
on yourself.
woman,
You told on yourself. You told on yourself. You were in your feminine. Not what the hell? You were not in your feminine. You a sexless relationship with somebody you're monogamous with, and he has to ask you if he can come to your house, and then because he came to your house, you broke it up with him. Yeah.
no, you didn't let me finish
I heard
what
what
I
you
was
said,
saying.
ma'am. You
But
said
you
he
didn't
came to
let me
your house. You
finish. You
said he
cut
came
me
to your house.
off.
I'm gonna keep cutting you off because you talk over me, and I'm not gonna do this. You said that you broke it off with him because he did something that was improper and rude and crossing boundaries and unmanly. And I'm asking you, goddamn, what did he do was so bad? He asked his
So
girlfriend, could he come over to your house?
no, that's not what he did. That was bad. I didn't get a chance to finish explaining.
Okay. Well, uh,
It wasn't
woo!
that he
It
just
doesn't matter,
came
really. It doesn't really
over.
matter, ma'am. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. If if this is feminine, okay.
So
Men
asking
still
someone, "Hey, what are you
no. You're
doing
not gonna talk
tonight?"
over me. I've done that for the last time. Nope, I'm not gonna do that
I'm just
anymore.
asking a
You're not gonna
question.
no. You're not gonna talk over me. See, you can't even you can't even follow instructions. See, that's why I know. See, I've triggered you. So what I've done, I've triggered you, and now you're showing who you really are. I've triggered you. I've triggered you on purpose, and you've come completely out of frame. And I'm not your man.
I'm
I'm not your
well.
man. I'm
It's
not
not
your
like that.
man,
I'm
and I'm
just
not in a
trying to
relationship with you.
answer your questions.
See how this works?
You asked me a question and I was
No,
trying
I
to
asked you a question
answer.
and it gave me the information I needed, man. And I went on about my business. See, the bottom line is this. What man wants to deal with a woman who you got to ask if you can come to their house if that's supposed to be your girlfriend? Especially if they're supposed to be monogamous. What man wants to ask? What man got to be in a bitch position and say, hey, girlfriend that I'm monogamous with, can I come over to your house? And what woman who calls herself feminine has to sit back and have that kind of boundary that he has to cross? Good luck, ma'am. But the things that I say, I stand by, and this back and forth dialogue has further illustrated the contentiousness that exists between most black men and black women. A lot of you just have problems with your role of being women. Take that up with the God of your creation, but it ain't gonna change. You don't like being a woman? Go fuss at him.
I wouldn't necessarily say I don't like.
I let that go on and on and on and on because these are the women who have a problem with my platform. And what is the problem? That I actually am telling you, no, you cannot be a bossy, ball breaking, 350-pound woman and think you're going to get a man. You may get a male. And even with that, look at how women like the caller treats males. Even when they get them, they don't show them any respect. Ladies, who thinks that woman treated her boyfriend with any kind of respect? And juxtapose, and it doesn't matter how they look. Juxtapose it with the previous caller. Black men aren't going. They don't have to put up with this stuff. That's why I tell you guys, the value thing, whatever it is, get your value up to where you have options. Do not take poor treatment from women. You let people know what you will and what you won't accept. Draw a line. You don't tell them, give them ultimatums. You just give them choices. But you can't do that, guys, if you don't have any value. And one thing has been shown and proven for sure, and I would say in particular with black men, the higher up black women go in the socioeconomic status, and the older they get, the more problematic they tend to become. I have yet to see women go up the socioeconomic status and in age, and they become more agreeable, easier to work with, easier to get along with. So next week, we do average looking women, average looking lazy women. Do they want high value husbands or do they want a high value lifestyle? And then we do old hoes tricks. No, she disrespected the heck out. No, he was I mean, can you imagine he's 33 years old and you can't.
You've got a 39-year-old woman who openly admits she prioritized her career through her 20s and 30s, and now she's questioning whether it's still possible to balance success, femininity, and relationships. That's actually a very real and relatable concern for a lot of modern women. Where things get heated is in the disconnect between intention and outcomes. She says she wants marriage and a child, but her life choices, waiting until nearly 40, freezing her eggs, staying in a 5-year relationship with a man who cheated, and later being in an 8-month exclusive situation with no clear commitment, tell a different story. Kevin's main point, underneath all the harsh delivery, is simple. Your results reflect your decisions, not just your desires. Then there's the weight issue, which he pushes hard. She admits she once weighed 350 pounds and was around 180 pounds at 5 feet 6 inches, which he argues still isn't optimal. His argument is that physical attraction is non-negotiable for most men, especially higher earning ones, and ignoring that reality limits options. But here's where nuance matters. Kevin speaks in absolutes, while real life is more flexible. Yes, attraction and timing matter, but relationships aren't purely transactional formulas either. The deeper issue exposed here is she's just becoming self-aware, late 30s. She's trying to shift from independence to partnership, but she hasn't fully aligned her behavior with that goal yet. And that's the tension. Bottom line, you can pursue a career and relationships, but not without trade-offs. Time, attraction, mindset, and relationship skills all matter. Ignoring any of those catches up eventually.